Hello, it's John, and we're at it again this week. I have something a little bit different. I think I may say that every week, don't I? Well, this is a little bit different. I wrote a book here a couple of years ago, Live the Life You've Yet to Dream. And I'm going to share some of the principles, or really one principle of that book that affects my daily life and helping you with your investments in your life. And I really want you to focus on the second part. You see, when you hired me, you may have come here thinking, John, I want you for my investments. But I never saw you that way. My goal is always to help you with your life. Your life is more important than your money, and so is mine. And I'm going to talk about one of the greatest tools in the world, one of the most powerful things in the world that really is not a good thing, and that is fear. This world is just covered with fear. You turn on the news, we fear this, we fear that, we fear this, we fear that. It's a constant, fully advertised day of fear, fear, fear. Well, what does that do to you? It can wreck your life. But you may say, John, that makes a lot of sense, and I don't want fear. Nobody wants fear. How do you stomach that? Well, if you read my book, I had 40 years of a highly intensive fear with a severe case of OCD. I got through it about a year ago, 2 years ago, and I learned that you can't just take fear and smush it away. You have to have a process. I'm going to share with you that process today. You start off every day with a limited amount of energy in your hands. Think about it that way. If you have a finite amount of energy today, how much of it do you want to waste? So when you take your energy and you pour it into a fear all day long or concern all day long, that doesn't give you a positive dividend. But what's the turning point? How do you say, John, I'm just not going to fear? Well, you really can't do that. Here's the tool that will help you. Here's what you do. Any situation you're ever in, you ask yourself this, or tell yourself this. You control what you can control. That's all in the world you can do. Y'all, it's just that simple. Control what you can control. I'll give you a couple examples. Got a friend of mine recently. He's going through a divorce. It's a very, very stressful situation for him. A lot of fear of a lot of things he can't control. So my conversations with him, write down the things you can control. What you can't control, it's going to be as it's going to be. Sometimes these fear points are really pivot points. Pivot to something maybe even a whole lot better. That thing you're so fearful of, it could point you in the right direction. I've got another friend that's in business. I had a big traumatic thing happen in their business. One of the key employees left. It's affected their business in a big way. And after talking to him, he's discovered, you know what? This could be the pivot point to help me have what I most want to have. But what if he had just focused on that fear and fear alone? So how does it pertain to your investments? Well, think about it. Let's say you're my client, or hopefully somebody else's client that's fearful. I don't want fearful clients. I'm going to teach you what you need to know to where you can control what you can control, where you won't fear. But let's imagine you've got a portfolio and you worry your entire life over this portfolio. The day you die, you have plenty of money. What was the cost of a lifelong of fear? In my example, there's a lot of people that are very concerned about the upcoming election. We've talked about this already. And it's really, it annoys me, quite frankly, a whole lot, because I can't control who's elected, you can't control who's elected, and furthermore, we can't control what to do once they're elected. Well, knowledge and fear work together here. Let's say that Joe Biden's elected. A lot of people think that's a bad thing. Well, the math doesn't show us that. Mathematically, the market's done better under Democratic regimes. Whether it does or doesn't, I can't control that. But here's what I can control. So many people invest in the broader market. That would fear me as well. If we invested your money in the broader market, we diversified over everything, what control do we have? So during a Biden administration, some things do horrible. Oil, gas, coal, we don't have anything to do with that. But what about green energy? What about solar? What about electric cars? There'll be tons of things that will be good investments. And by having the knowledge of what to invest in, not investing in fear, we're much better served. So what if Donald Trump's being reelected? That's a good thing too. Donald Trump's going to have to do a whole lot for our economy with the taxation plans. I think it's going to be a good market. But I wouldn't do the same things during a Trump administration as a Biden, and in neither of them am I going to be fearful. In my business here, we manage quite a bit of money. I have a lot of responsibility. If I went to bed at night fearful, it would affect the job I do for you. But you know what? It affects something more than that. It affects my relationship with you, my relationship with my family. So I need to know what I do. You need to know what you control, what you can't control, and then let it go. So for each one of you, if you'd like a copy of my book, If you'll email me, call me, would love to send you one free of charge. There's a lot in this book that's helped me tremendously. Live the life you've yet to dream. And we're going to go through this over the next few years, trying to give tips to help you understand what you can do to have a better life. Because really, gang, that's what I want for you. If you're my client, I don't really care about the market. I want you to be happy. Now, having said that, we have to do our job, and I will do my job. But ultimately, what John Neyland measures my success is in your happiness. And if you're a worried client, you worry me. One adjunct to that, a client of mine that's been worried for many years, a dear friend of mine, happened to call me about 3 weeks ago. He just got out of the hospital with a heart surgery operation. And he watched one of these videos, and he said, John, this video and the previous videos have given me resolve where I really feel a whole lot better about the market and how I'm investing. I hope to hear that from every one of y'all. And I look forward to this election. I look forward to tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you. And I'm going to do my darndest to help you have a life you have yet to dream. Talk to you next week. John.